ability. So, you're not fooling anybody by saying these things. So,
I don't think it's a question of Americans helping us to diversify away from somebody else.
That has neither ended up serving Pakistan well, nor serving American interests well.
Hello everyone, pranam,
namaste,
namaste,
sat sri akal.
So कैसी हो आप लोग? I hope everybody
must be
doing
fantastic.
great. Today we're gonna react on a mashup of Jaishankar interviews. Lately he did a lot of interviews, like I don't know, 50.
I think
40,
it's
50.
kinds of 50 or 40.
He was talking about politics in America, between America and India, and
Yeah.
also about situation with Pakistan.
America offered 400 million for the F-16 fighter.
Yeah.
And then he talk about this all the things.
Yeah,
and
how he feels about it, and
Yeah.
also about the bias in the media and stuff. So it's gonna be quite interesting to watch what he has to say.
Yeah, and by the way, आप लोगों को बहुत सारी नवरात्रि की शुभकामनाएं. Yeah, today it's the first day of Durga Puja. Like people are going to celebrate, like in the evening, girls, women, men, children, old men
Gonna celebrate and dance.
celebrate, and they will be go to the like in the city to do kinds of, like you guys go to the Christmas to the city to celebrate and have fun and
that's
do
great,
puja.
yes.
So this is going to happen today.
Wow,
So-
all the best.
Yeah, so okay guys, let's
So all right.
oh
So, you're not fooling anybody by saying these things. So,
this is only
I
the
don't think it's a question of Americans helping us to diversify.
Also, what is gonna be
away
in this
from
video?
somebody
Yeah.
else.
that has neither ended up serving Pakistan well, nor serving American interests well.
Talk a little bit about India's plans going forward
Foreign Minister of
for
America.
military hardware and equipment, given the sanctions that the US and others are putting on Russian industry and given India's historic reliance on Russian technology. How is India trying to head off challenges related to Russia being potentially unable to service that equipment going forward as a result of sanctions? Can Russia still fulfill all of India's requirements? And will India look at perhaps more purchases of, say, American or Israeli military equipment? Thank you.
To the best of my knowledge, I don't think in recent months we have faced any particular problems in terms of servicing and spare parts supply of equipment that we have got in the past from Russia. Whether where we get our military equipment and platforms from, that's not an issue, honestly, which is a new issue
They
or
expect
a issue
different
which
answer.
has particularly changed because of geopolitical tensions. I think we look at possibilities across the world. We look at the quality of technology, the quality of capability, the terms on which that particular equipment is offered, and we exercise a choice which we believe is in our national interest.
Good.
Now,
Very good
if you were to look at the last 15 years, for example, you can see that we have actually procured a lot from the United States. If you were to consider, for example, aircraft, the C-17, the C-130, the P-8, or the Apache helicopter, or the Chinooks, or the howitzers, the M777 howitzers. We have done so.
I think it would be, today I can say by and large there is a bipartisan view of India. It's not that one party is strongly for and another is against it. And to a large extent, politics is also very individual. So some leaders, some prominent figures in each party would take more interest, others may not take the same level of interest.
Yes.
So I would attach no sense of partisanship at all when it comes to India. The second question, really the nub of the question, which is in a sense the US relationship with Pakistan and the military relationship that the US has had. Now you all know that this is not something of recent making. It has gone on for many years. And you also know that very honestly, it's a relationship that has neither ended up serving Pakistan well, nor serving American interests.
Yeah, but
So
they still
it
doing
is
it.
really for the United States today to reflect whether what are the merits of this relationship? What do they get by keeping it
Going.
sort of continuing? Because at the end of the day, for someone to say, I'm doing this because it is for counter-terrorism, when you are talking of an aircraft like the capability of the F-16, I mean, everybody knows, where they are deployed and what is the use and what is their capability.
Yeah.
So, you're not fooling anybody by saying these things. So
He's right.
the point is, we really think countries finally make their choices based on their own interests.
Money.
And I would make a case, if I were to speak to a American policymaker, I would really make a case saying, look, what you are doing, forget about us for a moment. It's actually not good for you, what you are doing. Reflect on the history. Look at the last many years of where this relationship has taken you. And how much, what a cost you paid for. There are some newspapers, you know exactly what they're going to write. So, including one in this town. By some people, I look at media. There are some newspapers, you know exactly what they're going to write. So, including one in this town. Look, my point is there are these biases, there are these efforts really to determine how I put it. Look, the more India goes its way, and the people who believed that they were the custodians and the shapers of India lose ground in India, the more actually some of this debate is going to come outside. Because they are not winning in India.
True, really.
So they will try and win outside India, or try and shape India from outside. So this is something which we need to be aware of. It is important to contest it. It is important because the most of the Americans, they would not know sort of the nuances and the complexities of our world. So it's important, not to sit back, not to let other people define you. That is something which I feel as a community it's very important for us.
We have different relationships with different countries.
All is in America.
There were times when
Yes.
less options were open to us. We actually are one of those few countries which have a very, very wide range of defense options before us. I don't think it's a question of Americans helping us to diversify away from somebody else. We have different relationships with different countries. We think each one of those relationships has its own merit, its own logic, its own value. So the implicit or not so implicit assumption in your question that there is a zero-sum game between them and one moves us away from the other, I don't think is a logic that I would subscribe to. It's always been our effort to actually look at the global opportunities and make the best decision that we can for our security and for our defense procurements. Now, there were times when less options were open to us. Today, in part because Indian diplomacy has striven so hard over many years, we actually are one of those few countries which have a very, very wide range of defense options before us. So we will continue to make the best of the multiple options that are open and take judgment calls based on what works best for us.
Minister Jaishankar and Secretary Blinken, thank you for doing this. Minister Jaishankar, you've had a very busy week at Anga, meeting all your counterparts. Did they express their worries about Ukraine, which you mentioned in your remarks, of course, but also Taiwan? And did you discuss the impact of these developments on the global economy with Secretary Blinken? How are the two countries going to work together to address these concerns? And my second question to Secretary Blinken is, you talked about F-16 and the obligation that the U.S. has, but can you further clarify what terror threats does Pakistan face, and why is there a need for these fighter jets? Also, there's a discussion with your Pakistani counterpart to improve ties with India and to make the region more stable. What was their response? You did give them an advice to maintain peace. What was the advice that you gave them?
We do
You need to think.
speak for India, but I also speak to some degree for the relationship having an impact on the world. We think the right thing today is to find ways of stabilizing the global economy, of softening prices, of making sure that global trade is more predictable, that the sources of anxieties and tensions are less. Because at the end of the day, that's really, Prime Minister Modi, of course, said this is not an era of war, but this is an era of where we seek development, where we seek prosperity, where we seek progress. And I think India nationally and India through its key partners would like to do more to strengthen those trends.
So, Marcia.
Did you notice that Jaishankar becoming like a superstar in India? I mean, in general, in media, in political world.
In the political world, I can say.
I think because mostly of his charisma and his logic, because politicians tend to dance around the subject, dance around the question, and he goes straight to the point. He doesn't, he's just very straightforward.
Like
with the class,
with the class,
of course, and I totally agree with him. What he said about collapsing economy, we have to focus on that, not on a goddamn drama, and the media and stuff, and the bias things that's happening,
and that's true,
and
actually.
the bullshit. That's why I really like him, and he was also right about this. Pakistani America deal. What was that about? It's illogical. Pakistan is dealing with such a horrible catastrophe with the floods, and they do
dealing with 400 million from the America. They give 400 million to the America in this situation where they are asking money from every country. Not just.
It makes no sense. It makes not even 1% sense for me. People are suffering there, and they invest in this. I don't know. How they call it.
I don't know.
They invest in
a defense.
In defense. What defense? I mean, what defense?
Yeah, actually, I forget. But the thing is, America's hypocrisy. They are giving fighter plane. Like F-15 to kill terrorists. I mean, it's illogical. Can you believe? Like you have F-56 and you're gonna fly in Afghanistan and put bomb. It's not going to be like that. So it's just okay.
Pointless, and
that's why as Jaishankar say, you are not fooling anybody.
You're not fooling everybody, and you have to rethink really about this weird connection, this weird investments.
And what you are getting from Pakistan and what Pakistan is getting from you. So for me, I will say America is getting 400 million. And what Pakistan is getting, I think their government and their people know. I don't know.
Yeah.
So,
wow.
Thank you to watching with us.
So what do you guys think about this? Really, let us know in the comments. We read every comment.
Yeah.
And please, you can check out on Instagram IDs.
In the description box.
Yeah.
Okay, pranam, namaste, sat sri akal. See you.